Without a doubt, Captain America is one of Marvel's most powerful brands, with the 2025 film being the fourth, featuring the patriotic hero since the beginning of the MCU, making him the hero with the most solo films ever. That said, were you able to catch all the hidden little details tucked away in the film Captain America: Brave New World? For example, in the opening moments of the film, we can see Colonel Ross on his campaign for President of the United States, and we notice that his slogan is, "Together," followed by a period. This in itself is a bit odd, since campaign slogans usually end with exclamation points rather than periods. In fact, that idea was from the villain Samuel Stearns. It was essentially his way of sending a subliminal message that he and the future president of the most powerful nation in the world were in cahoots in that sinister plan. Furthermore, the period at the end of the word is definitely unusual, as political campaign slogans normally don't include periods, or, if they do, they use exclamation points instead. This further suggests that something was off with this election from the very start. Another detail that went unnoticed by most viewers is the fact that Ross, now during his victory speech, is wearing a tie that is red with blue stripes. Or is it a blue tie with red stripes? Well, either way, the fact remains that these are the colors representing the United States flag, and consequently the colors that will always be part of Captain America's identity, no matter who he is. Moreover, since this is all about politics, the colors also represent the two best-known parties in the most powerful country in the world, Democrats and Republicans. This indicates that perhaps after the events we saw in the series Secret Invasion, the two parties that were once rivals have united under the same candidate's banner for the first time in history. Today, we're going to show you the 25 most incredible references to the first Avenger, Captain America, found in comics, movies, and TV shows. If you want your mind blown, come along with us and take a peek at this video right now. Next, we see our noble Sam Wilson drinking at a bar called Abe's. This is a reference to a bar called Abe's Head Bar that indeed existed, at least fictionally in Marvel Comics, and that ended up being destroyed by the Hulk. Though not the green one, but the red one, who is the film's main villain. All of this took place in Hulk issue number 7 from 2008. A fine tribute, to be honest. Inside the bar, we can see a sports jersey from Howard University. This is quite interesting because this institution of higher learning, located in Washington, D.C., and founded in 1867, is one of the most famous HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, primarily focused on providing support for African American students, which means that Disney truly wants to make it clear that racial issues are very important to them. 5 months after General Ross was elected President of the United States, we see Captain America, incidentally without his serum, taking part in a mission to recover a package that is in the hands of an organization called Serpent. For those who didn't buy every single Marvel comic book during childhood, here's a bit of context. Originally, the organization first appeared in Captain America issue number 163 in 1973. Interestingly, in that same story involving the group of mercenaries led by Viper, they attempted to seize a strategic government base, lending a conspiratorial feel to the plot, much like what happens in the movie. It's worth noting that the Captain America who faced them was indeed Steve Rogers. When General Ross is at the cemetery paying tribute to his late wife, we see two cherry trees distinguished by their beautiful pink blossoms. Shortly after, the film's storyline begins to show us that much of the story in Captain America: Brave New World is connected to Japan and its government. And if you're even a little fond of Japanese culture or anime, you should know that cherry blossoms are an important hallmark of the culture of the land of the rising sun. In other words, the beautiful trees were not there by chance. When Sam takes the rookie Falcon to meet someone, we discover that he is none other than Isaiah Bradley. Isaiah was simply the first black Captain America in Marvel, long before anyone considered passing the mantle to Sam Wilson. Canonically, he appeared in Captain America: Truth, Red, White, and Black, 2003, where he was an American Army soldier who, after the disappearance of Captain America in the North Pole, ended up receiving another experimental super soldier serum, though not as effective as the one Steve Rogers received. In the MCU, he had already appeared in the Disney Plus series, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and in that version he actually would have served in the Korean War. Now tell us, who do you believe is the most dangerous organization among Captain America's enemies, Hydra or Serpent? When Sam and Isaiah Bradley discuss President Ross's invitation, we can notice that the setting they are in has a rather peculiar decor, featuring images of great black athletes in United States history. For example, we can see Jackie Robinson in his Dodgers uniform, who was the first African-American player in MLB back in 1947. The guy was so important to baseball that in 1997, the number 42 he wore was retired league-wide. A movie about him was even made. The film starred Chadwick Boseman, our eternal Black Panther, and featured Harrison Ford as the owner of the Dodgers. In addition to Robinson, we can also see the basketball legend Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who made history in the NBA with the Lakers and needs no introduction. We find out throughout the film that Joaquin Torres, the new Falcon, is a Miami Heat fan. This reveals a bit about the character's origins. He's from Florida and, as his last name suggests, has Latin American roots, and Miami is home to one of the largest Latino communities in the United States. In the game room that serves as Captain America's headquarters, we can see that various keepsakes are preserved by the character who takes pride in his past, as evidenced by the tribute in the background to his time as a decorated soldier known as Black Falcon. In fact, if we look closely, we'll notice that there are several references to Sam Wilson's previous alter ego, the Falcon, scattered among the items in the room. For example, we can see a trophy made from some crystalline material in the shape of a falcon. In addition, there's an award displayed at the back of the Veterans Department, where we can see the Falcon logo right above the department's name, between two children's letters written by kids who admire Captain Captain America, the mantle of Sam Wilson is featured, as is clear from the drawings of the hero's iconic shield, as well as the still unsteady handwriting that begins the letter saying, "Dear Captain America." That's so cute. We can also see that the drawing on the left shows a drawn version of Captain America as Sam Wilson alongside a blonde woman whose identity isn't entirely clear, but it might be our not-so-charismatic Carol Danvers from the MCU, who is Captain Marvel. Seriously, someone needs to tell her to smile once in a while in the movies. It would do her well. It's also interesting to note a photo of Sam's sister, Sarah, who flirted with Bucky briefly in the series, much to Sam's anger. And by all indications, she's on board with the family boat that we also saw in the series set in Louisiana. Now, seriously, based on what you've seen so far, we definitely deserve your subscription. So click below and join our team of pop culture fans. Returning to the same scene we just mentioned, we also see a photo of Sam alongside Bucky, which harks back to the events we witnessed in Disney's series Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That's not to mention a photo of Isaiah Bradley himself when he was still young and serving in the United States Army, probably before he was subjected to tests involving the alternative super soldier serum. Upon arriving at the location of Campo Echo 1, Joaquin finds information on how Samuel Stearns uses flashes of light and the song Mr. Blue to activate a mind control mode in order to secretly control them for the villain. Interestingly, Mr. Blue was the codename used by Samuel Stearns himself to communicate with Bruce Banner in the 2008 film The Incredible Hulk, back when he hadn't yet undergone his mutations. A very interesting reference that shows the universes are indeed now shared, even including films from before the official MCU. Another piece of evidence is the diploma from Grayburn University, which is the same institution where Bruce and Betty Ross encountered the then Professor Samuel Stearns in the 2008 film. In fact, Samuel's name is even on the diploma, something that should have been immediately noticed by Sam Wilson, prompting him to quickly investigate that it was the shadowy figure behind that strange laboratory. And just as a fun fact, the song Mr. Blue was released by the vocal group The Fleetwoods in the 1960s, exactly the same decade in which The Incredible Hulk was launched, becoming one of Marvel's icons, and having a complete connection to the new Captain America movie. Now, speaking about Campo Echo 1, it is also a reference to one of the comic books of the Green Giant. In the 2017 Champions comic, that was the name of a neighborhood built within military installations located in New Mexico, where next-generation heroes stayed for a while. Among the heroes are Miles Morales, the Spider-Man we saw in the Sony movies, Miss Marvel Kamala Khan, and Amadeus Cho, who is a genius kid that gains the powers of the Hulk. Moving toward the part near the end of the film, we see that Sam and Ross have a conversation, and then we discover that the president suffers from a heart condition. I mean, we don't exactly discover it, do we? The proper thing to say is that we are reminded. This is because in Captain America: Civil War, we saw Ross himself, then played by William Hurt, who passed away in 2022, in a meeting with the Avengers members, trying to convince them of the necessity of being under the tutelage of the American government, and we heard him say that 5 years earlier he had suffered a heart attack. This shows that it is an old fact, and in light of everything we uncovered in this film, Samuel Stearns was already helping him with his plans. Moreover, we can deduce that the Sokovia Accords proposed by Ross for the Avengers were probably drafted by Stearns, who was already aware of the likelihood of what occurred with the group's split. And near the very end of the film, we finally see Ross becoming the Red Hulk, just as Stearns had planned, and we can notice that on his shoulder there is a piece of the suit he was wearing, smoking, which is a very faithful detail to Marvel's Red Hulk, who, unlike Bruce's Hulk that emits gamma rays, has a body that radiates heat, hence the reason for that piece of fabric to look as if it came straight out of a fire. And if you look again at the entire scene of President Ross's transformation, you'll see that his shoes, and also the carpet he touches with his hands, is slightly burned, indicating the intense heat being transmitted by the body of the Red Hulk. We've set aside 2 more videos for you to watch and enjoy. We'll see you in the next video, thanks.